The Miami Heat just picked up a huge win on the road last night, taking down the Phoenix Suns 111 to 102 in one of the best all-around performances we've seen from the Miami Heat team in a while, as they've had an up and down season so far. This was on the second night of a back-to-back on the road against a Western Conference playoff team. The Miami Heat's flight was delayed. They didn't land in Phoenix until 4:30 a.m., so their sleep was just disrupted, and they were playing back-to-back road games. And so this was tough, but Miami not only won this game, they controlled this game, and what a great team overall effort. And they didn't shoot that very well as well, and they're still able to win against a pretty solid Western Conference team. So let's get into the game. So this game had a really interesting feel from the start. Miami came in tired, like I mentioned, coming off a tough win the night before and against the Utah Jazz. And instead of looking sluggish or complaining, they came out locked in. They were physical. They looked disciplined. And from the opening quarter, you could tell that the Miami Heat wanted to set the tone defensively. And they weren't trying to outrun the Phoenix Suns last night. They weren't trying to turn this into a track meet like they traditionally have been doing this season. They actually slowed the game down. They made it more physical. They forced Phoenix to play in the half court, which is exactly where Miami's defense is at their best. And the first half was competitive. It was back and forth, but the Miami Heat never really lost control of the game at any point. Every time the Phoenix Suns made a run, the Miami Heat answered. And then in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, Miami did what they needed to do. They executed offensively, they defended, they closed, and they won this game on the road. And that's what you need to do on the road in January. And for me, the clear player of the game last night was Bam Adebayo. He's been playing really well in the month of January. He has finally gotten out of the slump. And in his last four games, he's been averaging over 26 points per game, which is all you can ask for Bam Adebayo. We know he's always going to be our defensive anchor, but if he could step up offensively while Tyler Hero is out for who knows how long, it's going to be huge for this Miami Heat team. Bam finished with 22 points last night. And this was one of those games that doesn't just fully show up in the box score because Bam effectively controlled this game. Offensively, he was scoring in the paint. He was knocking down mid-range jumpers. He was rolling hard to the rim. He was drawing fouls. He was facilitating for his teammates, getting them open shots. But defensively, again, this is where Bam always changes the game when he's playing well. He was switching onto guards. He was protecting the rim. He was controlling the glass. And most importantly, he was the anchor that allowed Miami to stay aggressive on the perimeter. So when Bam is playing like this, the Miami Heat's defense looks a lot different, and their defense has been bad in the last few weeks, or the last month or so. It feels like their offense has been better than their defense, which is usually the opposite. So this version of Bam Adebayo that the Heat need is someone that has to stay if they want to make a playoff run, if they want to avoid the play-in. And right now, I believe the Heat are seventh now after that win, and we need Bam to stay confident, stay aggressive, and stay leading this team. Jaime Jaquez Jr. had a very good game off the bench. This might have been one of his top few games this season so far. He's definitely had a lot of good games this season, but this would be a top 5 game in my opinion coming off the bench. He scored 20 points, but it felt like every bucket came at the right time, and it felt like he didn't miss in the second half. I think it was 8 for 9 literally in the second half, or 7 for 8 in the second half. So he was dominant, and whenever Phoenix started gaining that momentum and coming back a little bit, Jaime is the one who answered. And he was playing amazing off the ball, cuts to the rim. He was posting up on smaller defenders. He was hitting the mid-range jumper. And if you could focus on that mid-range jumper and improve that this offseason, he can take another leap, which would be huge. In transition, he was finishing at the basket. He was doing his patented spin move, amazing footwork, finishing at the rim, getting to the free throw line. And what I liked the most about Jaime is how calm he was last night. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt forced. He was just decisive and definitive. And that's what you love to see. And he plays at his own pace. And that's rare for a young player. And this is where he's becoming really important for the Miami Heat. He's giving them reliable offense off the bench without needing to call plays for him, essentially. He just moves off the ball. He reads the defense. He attacks mismatches. And that's huge for him. That's growth. That's development. And Jaime continues to prove that he's not just a role player, but he's a part of this team's core moving forward, and that he is someone that probably does deserve that extension. Like, he is our sixth man, and hopefully the sixth man of the NBA. Norman Powell, he looks like he's been injured and off. lately. He's been questionable for like the last few games, but he's been playing. He's been toughing it out, and he's another guy who deserves a lot of credit in this game. He scored 16 points. His scoring has been down again. I think he's been dealing with a lot of nagging injuries, but he's been playing through them. But what also stood out last night was his 10 rebounds, which was huge for this Miami Heat team. And because against a team like Phoenix, which has athletic wings and big bodies, second chance points do matter. So Powell battled on the glass last night. He spaced the floor, even though he's been inconsistent lately. He did hit some timely jump shots, and he defended well as he could. So this is exactly what the Miami Heat needs from him, especially if you're not going to be scoring, but you still are able to score to a certain degree. You are giving us toughness, and it's not super flashy, but it's extremely valuable. And the rebounding last night was extremely valuable for the Miami Heat. So let's talk about the real reasons why the Miami Heat won this game, because they didn't shoot well. They shot 25% from three, which is atrocious. But the Phoenix Suns were short manned, and their announcers were saying like that, this was huge for them, that they were shorthanded, but so were the Miami Heat. They didn't have Davion Kaloware or Hero. I know none of those guys are as good as what's it called? Davion, as good as Brooks or Booker, excuse me. I'm coming off a cold still, and I'm recovering, so forgive me for that. But Devin Booker is better than any of the R players that we're missing. But still, the Miami Heat played winning basketball last night. Their defense was their identity, which was great. This was one of Miami's best defensive games in weeks, and they did a few things really well. They cut off the driving lanes, they forced tough jumpers, they controlled the defensive glass, they out rebounded the Suns, which was great. Phoenix struggled to get clean looks, they struggled to attack the paint, and they rarely got easy transition points. And Miami dictated where the shots came from. And when Miami does that, they're a tough team to beat, even if their shots are not falling. So, ball movement and spacing, offensively, Miami played smart. They didn't force shots. They moved the ball side to side. They attacked closeouts. You saw Bam operating from the elbow. You saw Jaime operating from the low post. Shooters spaced correctly. They cut well off ball, and it wasn't hero ball. And this was a team offense. And if they shot better, it would have been a bigger blowout, honestly. And that's when the Miami Heat, again, are at their best, is when they're moving, playing unselfish basketball, making the right reads, making the right decisions. They slowed the game down. They ran their good sets. They got some high percentage looks again, even though they didn't fall, but their defense is what really stepped up last night. And that's huge for the Miami Heat. The Suns, what went wrong? Yes, they were shorthanded. They were missing a lot of pieces, but they couldn't shoot consistently. They fouled too much. They didn't defend the paint well, and they lost a rebounding battle. So that's huge for the Miami Heat. Dylan Brooks did his thing, and he's looking really good this year. He's really annoying, obviously, but he scored 26 points. Um, and he made some tough shots for them, but it wasn't enough. And Grayson Allen, of course, played well. As those two guys were the two that carried their offense, but outside of that, they didn't really get much. And when your offense is built on isolation jumpers against a locked-in defense like the Heat last night, it's gonna be hard for a team to get in rhythm. And Phoenix didn't get in rhythm, and they lost the game. So huge night for the Miami Heat, winning again. Even though I know Booker was not there, we were still shorthanded. They won on a back-to-back on the road against the playoff team on a 5-game road trip. It's been a long West Coast road trip for the Miami Heat. So these are the games that matter when the standings get tight. And the Miami Heat right now are in the middle of a playoff race trying to avoid the play-in. So every win matters, every road win matters. And games like this do a few things. They give you confidence, and they show that a team like this can win. And again, I don't know if it's better for the Miami Heat to get healthy. It feels like whenever a Davion's out or a Hero is out or if a Pella is out or whoever it may be, we always seem to do better when we're shorthanded versus when we're fully healthy, which is an oxymoron. But this is huge. And if we want to avoid the play-in, we need to stack up wins. The Miami Heat are playing against the Magic, who have owned us this season. And I think we're ahead of them now. I think they're the 8th seed now. So we're playing against them on Wednesday. We get a couple nights off, which they actually need. The Heat are 7th, the Magic are 8th. So we need to beat the Magic. We're 0-3 against them. And then we have 3 games against the Chicago Bulls, who are the 9th seed. So we're playing 4 winnable games. If we can go 3-1, which seems reasonable, that could be huge for the Miami Heat. That can get them into the 6th seed, hoping that the Sixers do lose a couple games. So anyway, huge win for the Miami Heat, in my opinion. And let's see if we can stack up wins. This is the first time we won back-to-back games in the month of January. So we got over that hurdle. let's stack up a few more wins and move up in the standings. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.